Hello Internet, this video, like the central metaphor of the 2006 film The Prestige, comes to you in 3 parts. Part 1 is the story of my first trolls. No, not those trolls. Okay, that's kinda weird. Last week I posted a video that talked about privilege, and I know that I don't know all that there is to know about privilege, so before I posted it I ran it by a couple of smart friends and I filled it with caveats and disclaimers, and I was totally ready for any legitimate criticism that anybody had for that video. I was totally ready for messages being like, hey, check your privilege and you got this wrong and all of these other things. I was set. But that's not what happened. What happened is I woke up the next morning and checked my Tumblr and found 10 or 12 people saying some really upsetting and mean-spirited things about me in my video. And a lot of them said that I was a sore loser, which I guess means that they thought that the point of that video was that I didn't like losing at nose goes. That was not the point of that video. So that made me think that these people hadn't actually watched my video, or hadn't watched it complexly or all the way through. So I was a little upset at first, but after a while I talked to some nerdfighters and I talked to some friends and I calmed down a little bit, and I started wondering about the principles behind what had happened. So that brings us to the second part of today's video. Part 2 is a semi-rhetorical question. Why? No, really, why? Like, I know that haters gonna hate, and I know all the theories about the internet breeding hatred because it gives you anonymity, and anonymity encourages people to do more stuff that they wouldn't do in real life because they know that they can't get caught, and I know all of those things, but I don't understand why. What incentivizes trolls? It's certainly not money. I don't think it's fame, because you don't really get famous for being a troll. Most people just ignore you. If it's attention, I don't know if trolls wanted attention from me, because all that I did was took the thing that they were yelling about away from them. They might have wanted attention from other trolls? I don't know. I can't find anything in that act that would ever be very appealing to me, or would incentivize me to do something to make a total stranger's day a little bit worse. I might make a less than positive comment on somebody else's video if I thought they were doing something hurtful or wrong that I would want to correct, but I would phrase it politely. And these comments weren't offering legitimate criticism because I had done something wrong or hurtful that they thought I should correct. So that's my semi-rhetorical question. I don't know the answer. I don't know if there is an answer. If you know an answer, if you're a hater, tell me in the comments why you like to hate. But phrase it in a way I can understand, which means your answer has to contain an actual answer. So that's part 2. Part 3 is a non-rhetorical question, and it has to do with respect. One of the reasons that initially seeing these comments upset me so much is because I'm used to thinking of people on the internet, especially people on Tumblr and YouTube, as real people whose opinions I respect and give weight to. Dealing with trolls required me to turn off that part of my brain that automatically tries to give respect to other people's opinions. Their opinions were not well thought out and not intended for me, really, and there wasn't any way that I could give respect to them because I knew that they were thoughtless and wrong. So how do I reconcile those two things? How do I say to the trolls, you are people and you are entitled to all of your opinions and I will respect you for being a person, and also at the same time say your opinions are not worth my attention at all because I have decided that they're not worth considering. Trolls are people too. I want to imagine trolls complexly. That's my non-rhetorical question for you. How would you go about imagining trolls complexly? A troll being, in this case, somebody who says mean things just because they want to hurt somebody or make somebody angry and because they know that they won't get caught. How do you imagine that person complexly? I don't know. I'm asking you. Comment and tell me. Comment on YouTube, comment on Tumblr, send me a message. Tell me your complex imagining of trolls. Because people who are trolls live on this internet too, and we all have to be able to get along, or at least let each other exist, and for that to happen there needs to be some complex imagining. And I'm not going to let trolls bother me anymore. I'm not going to let their cruel and thoughtless words affect me like they did this weekend. I know now that that's not the kind of dialogue that's meant to be taken as thoughtful criticism or really meant to be replied to, and I'm going to treat it as such. While I'm doing that, I also don't want to demonize the real people with real problems and real hopes and dreams who are behind those words. So that's my dilemma. Let me know what you think. Maybe I'll post a more in-depth video about this later, if you guys give me some really awesome responses that I want to reply to. I haven't decided yet what my next video will be, but it will be either science or gospel music, so you have that to look forward to. Never forget to be awesome.